बिस्मिल्लाह वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह वस्सलातु वस्सलामु अला रसूलिल्लाह रब्बि इश्रह ली सदरी व यस्सिर ली अमरी वहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली। अस्सलामु अलैकुम वरहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू। उम्मीद है आप सब इंशाल्लाह खैरियत से होंगे और मेरी आवाज़ भी वाज़ेह होगी। अच्छा, आज जो है हमारा फोर्थ सेशन है सलाह टास्क सीरीज़ का, और इसमें हम नमाज को, सलाह को डिफरेंट एंगल से, डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव से समझने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं और उसको हम अपनी ज़िंदगी में परफेक्शन की तरफ ऑब्वियसली लेके जाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। तो मैं इस हवाले से मैम इम्तिसाल को इनवाइट करूँगा कि वो जो प्रीवियस सेशंस हैं उनका एक ब्रीफ सा ओवरव्यू और जो आज की प्रेजेंटेशन है उससे कंटिन्यू करें। मैम इम्तिसाल जो है वो आज की हमारी प्रेजेंटर हैं। जी मैम इम्तिसाल, ओवर टू यू।
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I welcome all of you to attend this session. And before we step into today's science, I want to begin with gratitude. Last week we discussed the roots of Salah. हमने उसका scriptural और history उसकी study किया and its place in our faith. And the purpose we had those sessions earlier is because we wanted to develop a basic understanding. And I think those sessions gave us the why. And today I think we are trying to explore how. Um, I'd like to sincerely thank Nayab and her team for creating this space where these conversations and presentations can happen. I'm very excited for today's session. I spent a lot of time doing my research work, and I'm very excited to share my work with you guys. I should say our work. I personally believe that community cannot just grow through shared beliefs, but I think the growth happens when we share curiosity and when we share our knowledge. So I'm honored to stand here today as part of this journey. And I would like to give credit to Nayab and her team for taking this initiative. My brief introduction, my name is Imtisal Razak. I live and work in USA. My professional background is in finance and business operations. I'm not a religious scholar. I would like to believe that I'm a practicing Muslim, and I am simply a student of Islam and science. And I think today I would like to explore Salah from a scientific angle. Like I said, today I'm here as a student of Islam, as a researcher, sharing my insights by reviewing the peer-reviewed scientific literature that explore a fascinating dimension of Salah, its effect on the brain, the body, and even how we relate to one another. I try to work hard on it to keep this very engaging and interaction can only happen when we talk, but I would like you guys to just follow the flow, and I would like to use very metaphors and analogies so I can keep you guys engaged. But your feedback is most welcomed in person if you can text me, or if you want to share your feedback in a group chat. So let's just start with this question. No one need to answer it loud, but I just want you guys to imagine or think and try to find the answer. Is how many of us think of Salah as a duty or as a religious obligation, something that we think it fits into the life, rather than something that is actively shaping us while we pray? Um, Again, it's part of the question, or it's part of that thought-provoking idea that we often divide the word and keep religion on one shelf and science on the other. But I believe that, and after doing this research, I think we cannot, Salah has more dimensions than, more than what we can imagine. There are a lot of seen, unseen things that are involved in this act of worship. Um, I think every posture, every pause, every moment of stillness is doing something, even when we are not aware. So it's like standing on a beautifully engineered bridge where faith allows you to cross it and science lets you marvel at how it holds. I like this analogy just for imaginary purposes. It's not that I am using any hadith or ayah for this reference. It's just an analogy. And I like to give disclaimers and disclosures wherever I'm being creative. So without taking the journey away, I would like to connect science and Salah today. And I think that when science and faith meet, our gratitude it deepens, our worship becomes more conscious. So today is about appreciation and giving a look on Salah from the lens of science. We are not trying to replace it or change anything, but we are trying to understand and trying to deepen our faith for the minds who are curious and who wants to learn and understand things differently. And we are discovering how something prescribed over 1400 years ago fits the human biological system so perfectly. Still, science has its limitation, but our faith gives us that contentment and that satisfaction and uh, that standing that can keep us grounded all the time. So let's begin our presentation. Let me just go to the next slide. Okay, so today, from a scientific perspective, Salah is not a random movement. It's a sequence of intentional actions then that gently engage the human system. So, human system biologically, what we are trying to explore today are our neural regulation and cognitive coordination, how Salah affects that. And that is the first system that we would like to understand by reviewing the different research papers. So every time when we move in Salah from standing to bowing to prostration, the brain is actively coordinating balance, posture, and motion. So it's not a passive movement, it's a continuous coordination. Um, and if I am trying to, I think during the last session, we talked about the language barrier and limitations. Like I said, I was conscious and careful how I'm using my words, but if anyone has any questions, we can discuss it towards the end of the session. Scientific studies published in journals such as Journal of Neuropsychology and Physiology and in Frontier in Human Neurosciences shows that practices involving structured movements and postures, it provide attention control, it helps with your memory, and it also affect your cognitive flexibility. These are the brain functions that we are going to explore further in upcoming slides. Next part of the human structure and biology that we would like to explore today is how Salah affects our cardiovascular and circulatory responses के पहले ये हम देखने की कोशिश करेंगे कि आपके जहन पे ब्रेन पे माइंड पे कैसे इफेक्ट करता है नेक्स्ट इज how it affects your heart. So Salah also engages the heart because if we look at it only from scientific point of view, it involves circulation and also maintaining supply of the blood during your different postures and how it affects your regulation. That is we are going to explore. Um, Regarding heart, the research published in American Journal of Physiology shows that repeated transitions like these that we do during Salah it provides mild but very meaningful cardiovascular stimulus that can obviously in different postures your blood flows differently. So it's kind of an exercise for your heart, how it helps your whole body and how it regulates your system. Next, we will be exploring biomechanical motion and your skeletal support system. And we all know that during different postures, we make different movements that involves our joints, our muscles, and during that slide, we will explore more about the flexibility, joint coordination, posture stability, and how this exercise can help and support our whole body and the system. And the next, we will be exploring how it can affect our behavior and our self-regulation. Um, we have another separate presentation on psychological aspect. So I will not be exploring that area today, but we will be looking into behavioral regulation and self-regulation from the scientific point of view. Obviously, there is an overlap between this and psychological aspect, but we will be strictly looking into from a neuroscience point of view about hormones, energy level, and your cognitive performance. And next, we will be looking into the global practice. Obviously, the way we offer our prayers, the way things are structured, um, it does give a very sense of community and global idea. And because if we look at it from a bigger perspective, it's lot of people from very well diversified communities across the cultures and populations, they are practicing the same thing. So for science and there are a lot of different measures that they can explore by studying the human behavior and human system when they are performing the Salah together. So that is the kind of socio-political and socio-science, neuroscience kind of element that we will be looking into briefly towards the end. Um, so next slide is, I think let's just step into the brain for a moment. The brain is always talking. Generally, that is, I think, when the more we work, the more noise we consume from the word, it makes it talk even more. But how it talks, it's through electrical rhythmic signals. They are called brain waves. And these rhythms, these waves, they change depending on whether we are anxious, calm, or distracted. So three main waves that are involved are alpha waves. Alpha waves, they help brain to calm down and to keep the focus. And then gamma waves, they are linked with learning, memory, and insight. So there are different EEG studies that are published on this topic, mainly about the meditative state of the brain, where sensors gently listen to the brain and they show that increase alpha activity during prayer or during meditative states. And when your alpha waves are increased, that means you're less anxious, more focused, and your mind is more active to function properly. It basically studies your mind. And at the same time, gamma waves they strengthen they strengthen and they support your memory and give you better mental clarity. Here is a very small fascinating trivia fact that I would like to mention is the brain can shift into this calm, focused state within 30 to 60 seconds of starting Salah or any meditative activity, and it's faster than any relaxing techniques studied in labs so far. The combination of recitation, the movement, and the intention during the process of Salah creates what neuroscience calls a meditative state and what Islam calls khushu. I can't see all the participants because I'm sharing my screen and I have a limited view. But Nazia, you asked this question about khushu. We are going to touch this again today briefly. I hope you are attending the session, or um, uh, if you can have the recording and listen to it later. But we will be touching the topic of khushu briefly today, little bit more tomorrow during our psychological aspect. So about this neuroscience and brain study, um, when this happens, when your alpha waves are making you calm and your gamma waves are helping you to get more clarity, the fears that you have inside वो खामोश हो जाते हैं. आपका जो गुस्सा है उसकी ग्रिप आप पे कम हो जाती है because you are calm, or you can have more patience. Patience becomes easier to access. That is what this meditative state, and that is what Salah, how it affects our brain. Um, the interesting fact here is that I would like to share is this is why I think people, when they are in that state, when they are in that state of khushu, or you can say meditative state, they don't just finish Salah. I feel like they emerge from it. And not because life has changed um, around them or their challenges are less painful or less difficult, but because their brain is more calmer or at least have the sense of purpose and connection with the bigger purpose. So next slide is about prefrontal cortex, and it is mainly about how your brain control center at work during the Salah. So let's zoom into one of the fascinating part of the brain called prefrontal cortex. You can think of it as the brain's, I would say, more like a traffic control tower, um, constantly monitoring, guiding, and coordinating decisions and your impulses and emotions. Um, because I cannot explain the whole prefrontal cortex area right now in this presentation. So I'm just giving you this analogy as kind of traffic control tower, जहाँ पे सारे emotions आ रहे हैं और वो tower उसको regulate कर रहा है, if it can make some sense. So during Salah, when we shift our posture, हम recite करते हैं, focus करते हैं, and try to put our attention on what we are reciting and try to disengage from uh, जो जिंदगी के भाग दौड़ है और जो उसके परेशानियां उससे डिसंगेज होने की कोशिश करते हैं. It helps to light up the control tower during a busy day and managing every action with precision. So I would like to talk a little bit more about Hushu. Here is how and when we often experience Hushu. It's basically a very deep and humble focus while you are praying. So from a scientific point of view, this mindful attention is similar to trained attention practices studied in neurosciences. So, research shows that activities involving sustained attention and relaxation, it always improves the functions and connectivity of your prefrontal cortex, and it helps to strengthen your cognitive control, and also it helps to regulate your emotions better. For example, a review of meditative and cognitive function found that practices involving attention and intention both enhance subhanallah because ultimately everything is आपकी नीयत पे करता है, so it's your attention and intention both. I'm stressing it again and again because that is where we should be and we need to be if we want to be in the state of khushu कि attention and intention दोनों focused हो एक ही purpose पे. And when we are there, it enhances the activity and connection in your prefrontal cortex, supporting better focus, memory, and emotional balance. Emotional balance is a bigger term that covers a lot of things, but like I said, we'll be exploring it tomorrow. Um, there are different research papers. Presentation के end में भी हैं. I think I can share it with you guys after this presentation in a group chat. And if anyone wants to get a copy, should be able to get that. Next is we are going to talk about okay, so just give me a second, please. Okay. So next we are going to talk about strengthening the self-control and daily focus. Obviously, this control center also regulates your how you pause before you reacting, make more thoughtful decisions, and how you respond to stress or any incoming like दिन में बहुत सारी चीजें होती हैं, कोई खबर आ जाती है, कोई प्रॉब्लम आ जाता है. It's how you deal with that. I would like to give another analogy, like here in US, it's a rule कि अगर आपकी 8 hour shift है तो you get to have 30 minutes lunch break and then 2 breaks. one during the first half of the day and second during the second half of the day, other than that lunch break, and two more 15-minute breaks. I use it or I think of it कि अगर हम इंसान को स्टडी करके वो ब्रेक टाइम डिफाइन कर सकते हैं कि नहीं, आफ्टर within 4 hours this person needs to take a 15-minute break to step away from workstation and be able to breathe and calm down and get back to you know and compose, और या अपना कोई और पर्सनल मैटर अटेंड करना है. That is, I think, how it is cognitively and how it affects your brain, how Salah affects your brain, कि आप हटते हो अपनी रूटीन से, you just go on your prayer mat and you just disengage with the worldly matter for some time. दोबारा अपने पर्पस को टच बेस करते हो. इट्स अ वेरी साइंटिफिक वे टू ग्राउंड योर सेल्फ. आप उसको मेडिटेट करके करो, आप उसको किसी भी तरीके से करो, बट दिस इज हाउ it affects your body when you give yourself a break in the form of salah or you do meditation. And it keeps you grounded, it keeps you anchored, and it helps you to make better decisions. It helps you to help others in a better way rather than putting your emotional burden on themselves. So, Salah with the sequence of movement, our breath, and reflection becomes a training ground for mental resilience. It's like it's like growing out of your problem. Like I said earlier, problems वहीं रहते हैं. But when you get a sense of purpose, आपका ब्रेन भी वही है, आपके सिनेरियो और सिचुएशंस भी वही हैं. But when you are grounding yourself, when you are going back to who you are, it helps you to develop better resilience. It helps you to make better decisions. And it's remarkable, literally, like how you can learn patience, focus, and it helps learning restraints and make you more resilient. And it all happens if we can keep praying on those regular intervals and keep taking those breaks. Um, so there are different studies that we or papers that we reviewed to come up with this slide. One is from Journal of Physical Therapy Science, second is from Journal of Cognitive Neurosciences, and then Social Cognitive and Affective Neurosciences. And I'll share all of the information and the papers with you later. So next we are going to look into the heart and circulatory benefit of Salah. Um, Okay, so building on what we saw with the brain, Salah doesn't just train the mind, it also quietly benefit the heart and your circulatory system. So scientific studies shows that prayer and meditative practice reduce cardiovascular strain. आपके दिल पे जो बोझ होता है वो कम हो जाता है, जो स्ट्रेस से पड़ा होता है. Again, it's how your mind, your brain, heart, and your soul, how they are in sync, or at least you try to bring them in sync while you are praying. तो एक चीज दूसरे पे इफेक्ट करती है, and this is how your whole body regulates in a better way. Breathing in rhythm during salah, हम चूंकि recite कर रहे होते हैं, and this synchronization of recitation and motion helps regulate the heart and the lungs, creating a very harmonious cardiorespiratory rhythm. And over time, this gentle yet consistent practice supports your cardiovascular health. Again, it lowers stress. Obviously, दिल पे बोझ कम होगा तो आपका stress और overall body function बेहतर होंगे, and even it contributes to better heart function and longevity for a bigger, for a longer term. Um, Next, we are going to look into the biomechanical engagement. Building on how Salah calms the mind and heart, let's now see how it moves the body. And Salah is a structured sequence of posture performed in specific order. हम क़याम करते हैं, रुकू करते हैं, सजदा करते हैं, and then sitting after your sujood. Each posture involves coordinated action for muscles, joints, and it helps you to balance your system. And this is very, you can resemble it with very low, not very, it's the term is low impact workout. Um, Obviously, we do repeat it on certain intervals every day. and it improves joint mobility, it improves your flexibility, and it improves your blood circulation. So studies in a it's a journal of Pakistan Medical Association. It shows that these postures stimulates muscles gently, support circulation back to the heart, and maintain your skeletal health over time. Obviously, it's always important to आजकल तो बहुत स्ट्रेस देते हैं कि इट्स इम्पोर्टेंट टू बिल्ड योर मसल्स, क्योंकि मसल्स वीक हो जाते हैं तो फिर बोन्स के प्रॉब्लम होते हैं। तो हम ये जो 5 टाइम्स हम ये लो इम्पैक्ट करते हैं, इट हेल्प्स, वो उससे आपके जॉइंट्स को भी थोड़ा फ्यूल मिलता है, और नॉट फ्यूल लाइक दे आर, वो इस्तेमाल में रहते हैं, आई शुड से। So unlike occasional exercise, Salah provide distributed physical activity throughout the day. In short, it's like daily low intensity. This is what I already talked about. So I've also mentioned the scientific reference. So I think let's just go to the next slide. Next slide is behavioral regulatory and self-regulatory process. So consistency is something that helps to shape our mind. So after exploring how Salah moves the brain, heart and the body, which we already discussed कि brain पे क्या effect है, दिल पे क्या effect है, हमारे muscles, joints, overall body structure पे क्या effect है, biomechanical element के बाद behavior पे, how timing and the routine shapes behavior and self-controls, and it helps to control your emotions and your day-to-day routine in a better way. So Salah occurs at fixed times each day, Subhanallah, and it helps to create a rhythm that the mind and body learns to anticipate. अब जितना हम साइंस को एक्सप्लोर करते हैं, they always talk about having structure. Even there is a recent research that is being done on Alzheimer's, जिसका भी कोई इलाज और ट्रीटमेंट नहीं है, उसका भी जो डिजीज मैनेजमेंट का प्रोटोकॉल है, they literally stress on having a structured routine. It helps to it helps those patients to maintain or manage their disease. Obviously, अभी तक उसका treat इलाज नहीं है, but they can, with the structured routine, they can manage it for a longer time and stay relatively healthy for longer than it was before. So structured routine and identity, regular practice जब हम कर रहे होते हैं, it builds stability in self perception. आपकी अपनी identity, आपकी self perception क्या है, उसके लिए भी ये help करता है. So research in chronobiology international that was done in 2018 shows that consistent daily routine strengthen your confidence, helps you to form your personal identity. Why personal identity having that is important? क्योंकि अगर वो नहीं होगी आपकी, तो you will be chasing everything. It can be money, it can be your job, it can be your relationships, it can be anything. और वो चीज़ इफेक्ट होगी, उस पर प्रॉब्लम आएगा, तो आपका सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस जाएगा, you lose your interest and you go into the state of fear or shock, or that you can lose that, and that can affect your how you perceive yourself and how you take your identity. So having your identity attached to a higher power, to Allah, to through Salah, is very, very important to stay calm and grounded throughout the day and throughout your life, because life happens, there can be different tests. अलामिया में हर तरीके से देर आर डिफरेंट टेस्ट के किसी भी तरीके से आप आजमाए जा सकते हैं, और समटाइम्स जो चीज़ आपको ज़्यादा चाहिए होती है या ज़्यादा आप उससे अटैचमेंट हो फील कर रहे होते हो, तो वही आप अल्लाह ताला वहीं पे आपको आजमाते हैं. तो उसके लिए हैविंग योर सेल्फ identity is very, very important, because you can lose pretty much everything in this world, but if you have that connection with Allah, that helps you to navigate through those difficult times. मुश्किलें उतनी आसान शायद नहीं होती, लेकिन वो आपकी सेंस ऑफ आइडेंटिटी को कम से कम आप वो बचा सकते हो, and it can help you to keep going. Next is the self-regulation and discipline. So daily prayer train the brain, like gentle exercise for decision making, and it helps to regulate things better. And from broader physiological perspective, it helps with the clear thinking and cognitive performance. So next is the neuroscientific interpretation. Uh, so when I did the, I just want to share the background of how we included this slide when we did the test presentation. One of the team members in the task team, he suggested that we should include this law of attraction, how it can help. Law of attraction is not something that we can really like, obviously, from different other religions and different other point of views, it does exist. And there are a lot of seen, unseen things that science did not explore. But I want to talk about it from a different point of view is not that it's being proven by science, but how we can look at it. So many call it the law of attraction, but science shows that science, I'm just trying to cover it from a scientific point of view, that जो भी हम सोचते हैं, our thoughts, they do not magically change the world. Nothing can change. Like we can't control the outcomes, we can't control the people around us, but your thoughts, your thought process, your understanding about yourself, about life, about your purpose, about the higher power, it can change the brain and the body. And as a result, it can change our action and our responses to those outside things. So, Salah is a practical example of this principle in motion. If you think of your brain as a CEO at work, and every posture and movement of mindful focus engages the prefrontal cortex, the brain control um, is the brain control center of attention, planning, and decision making. And if we repeat those practices on daily basis, it strengthens these networks, how things regulate within your body, making the brain more efficient, resilient, and calm. So research shows that repeated focus that we are supposed to do 5 times a day strengthens these networks, making the brain faster, more efficient, and more resilient. So basically, what the key takeaway from this idea is focused intention in Salah is like tending a garden, and if we keep providing a consistent care, it reshapes the brain and it strengthens your attention, and also it helps you with your inner balance, not by changing the world outside you, but by changing our lives. And when we are calm, when we are composed, when we are able to take care of ourselves, we are not affected or triggered by other people or other situations. And that makes us attractive towards other people because they can come and talk to us openly, and also it can help us to connect with the like-minded people. क्योंकि हम जब इस state में होते हैं, your IQ operates better, your judgment, your opinion, your thought process works better, you can make better decisions. So that is how it connects to this law. So next is the global perspective that we discussed briefly during the introduction. So Salah is performed almost identically worldwide every day. And this consistently allows scientists to study millions of people with reliable research. Um, we can study different cross-cultural consistencies with Salah, how it adapts to different cultures. Its core structure remain the same, but still making it an ideal model to study universally across the cultures, and how praying together strengthen the trust, cooperation, and unity. And group rituals like ours, it's one of its unique in its kind. So that is another thing that science is trying to explore, that how it can affect um, cross-cultural behaviors and social and physiological insights on how it can change brain chemistry, and how it affects to improve your confidence and your understanding and outlook of the life. That is about it. So um, we are towards the end of our presentation. Few of the references are listed here, but I did revise this presentation few times, so I did do more research. I would like if I think it's I would like to share all the references, all the papers that I studied for this presentation with all of you. But I would still like to give a disclosure here, and that is the limitation of our current research. So before concluding, I would like you guys to understand that while peer-reviewed studies have identified measurable neurological, cardiovascular, biomechanical patterns associated with the prayer, but the current body of research still has its limitation and its constraints. Obviously, limited sample size, short study duration, variability in measurement tools, and still this data is not too old. They are, um, I think the oldest paper that I during this research I studied was from 2009, I guess. Maybe there are researches before that, but it's still um, uh, it's science is always a work in progress thing. So I wanted to give this disclaimer. And now I would like to conclude this presentation, and I would like us to take a step back gently and very humbly and look at it like for centuries, Salah was not practiced because we had these brain studies or we knew how it is going to affect the heart or biomechanical efficiency, but it was practiced because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded it. And today, science is only beginning to notice patterns in what believers have been doing faithfully for generations. Not because science validates Salah, but because Salah was never dependent on validation. What science observes are signs, not proofs, glimpses, not conclusions. So I would like to still keep this thing that we are just looking into it to make it to increase our knowledge base. So perhaps these scientific findings that we explored today, they are not exactly the explanations, I would say, but rather invitations, invitation to reflect, invitation to be grateful, invitations to stand before Allah with deeper awareness, with better conscience, by keeping this in mind that Salah is not only a movement, it's not only a discipline, it's not only a practice, it's a moment where the servant pauses 5 times a day and realigns, I stress, realigns the body, breath, heart, soul, and the intention towards the one who created them all. If science discovers benefits, we say Alhamdulillah. If science does not yet understand, we still say Alhamdulillah. That is the beauty of being Muslim and practicing faith. Because for the believer, Salah was never about measurable outcomes. It was always about standing before Allah. May Allah allow us not just to study Salah, but to establish it with presence, with sincerity, and with strong faith and belief. Thank you so much. And now I think we can have your questions. Um, I can go through the chat, and if anyone has any question, please feel free to ask your question. No questions so far?
I want to ask something. I just needed time. Please,
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you so much for the insight. I just want to ask that इस तरह के सजदे में कैसी पोजीशन होनी चाहिए, रुकू में कैसी पोजीशन होनी चाहिए for better alignment of our bones, तो उस पे भी थोड़ा काम हुआ है या नेक्स्ट किसी सेशन में?
No, I don't think we went that deep in that. Honestly, when I was working on it, and Shakib is here. He witnessed that I had a very detailed research, but we were trying to keep the presentation within 30 minutes. I still went over, but no, we did not looked into it. It's an interesting thing and a good idea. So I can discuss it with Nayab, and maybe we can add it for the next session or a series or something.
जी, क्योंकि मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि हम लोग सही से सजदा और रुकू नहीं करते, जिसकी वजह से हमारी बॉडी में वो जो हमें बेनिफिट्स उसके मिलने चाहिए ना, वो मिल नहीं पा रहे। तो
True.
एक तो जी।
Honestly, at one point I thought about it कि जैसे वो different again it's a very materialistic example, but जैसे वो योगा के poses explain करते हैं ना कि इतना stretch करो. Even when you go for your workout, when you go for your gym, they tell you how much you need to push yourself to improve your posture. आपने कितना weight करना है, कितना कितना उसको push करना है, and what is the ideal state to achieve. तो हम इसको उस तरह नहीं करते जो कि you are very right. It's a very smart and interesting point. I would still like to do some research on it anyway. Maybe I can just write an article and blog and send it to the group. But yes, you are right. It's something that we can look into.
यस। अच्छा, थैंक यू सो मच। काफ़ी मुश्किल वर्ड भी थे, समझने में बड़ा मुश्किल हो रहा था मुझे तो ख़ास तौर पे। आई डोंट नो बाकियों की शायद समझ आ गई हो, लेकिन ये टर्म्स काफ़ी मुश्किल लग रही थी मुझे,
आप
और आपने इतने
बताओ,
कम।
I can explain better.
मैं उस पे मैं दोबारा सोचती हूँ, जब तक कोई और क्वेश्चन नहीं आता तो फिर मैं इंशाल्लाह पूछती हूँ। लेकिन
Okay.
ये है कि बहुत आपने इतने कम टाइम में इतनी सारी चीज़ें कवर की हैं। इट्स रियली कमेंडेबल। थैंक यू सो मच। अल्लाह ताला आपको इसका अजर दे।
You're most welcome. Thank you. Any feedback, any thought?
जस्ट अ पॉइंट फ्रॉम मी। पिछली सिस्टर के जो क्वेश्चन था उसके हवाले से था कि आई थिंक इस टॉपिक पे फिक की बुक्स हैं बहुत ज्यादा ना, फिक के हवाले से कि विद रिगार्ड्स द फिक ऑफ सलाह, कि आपको रुकू में कितना झुकना है, आपकी क्या पोजीशनिंग होनी चाहिए, सुजूद में आपकी क्या पोजीशनिंग होनी चाहिए। तो आई थिंक उस हवाले से अगर आप रिसर्च करें तो तब भी फायदा हो सकता है कि इस टॉपिक पे बुक्स इस तरीके से लिखी गई हैं कि सुन्नत तरीका क्या है सजदा करने का, रुकू करने का।
जी जी, आई ऑब्वियसली इस पे बात हुई होगी। आई थिंक व्हाट शी वांटेड टू आस्क कि हमने अपनी इस ग्रुप के लिए कोई इस पे काम किया है कि नहीं। नॉट दैट इट डिडंट हैपन हिस्टोरिकली, इट्स if we are presenting it in coming upcoming presentations. But I think, Aleem, when we were working on scientific and whatever we did so far, I don't think we explored that area. That is what I
Yeah,
understood from her question.
yeah, I don't think we went into the fiqh side of
Yes,
things.
but
That's what I meant. Yeah,
it's something that we can explore next. Yes.
definitely. Jazakallah khair.
इंतज़ार, एक चैट में क्वेश्चन है, अगर आप उसको आंसर कर दें।
How do you incorporate the effect of consistency of the Salah on cyclical behavior over a long period, and what I see it's for? Okay, so we have a detailed presentation on psychology of Salah, and I, in my notes, I had more. I have more to discuss about Khushu, but I'm waiting for tomorrow's presentation. We are still working on it, who is going to present it tomorrow, but I can definitely take some time towards the end and talk about it from that point of view. So if you can give me some time till tomorrow, I just do not want to kind of take away from whatever tomorrow's session is going to bring, and then we can discuss it. Okay? Okay, thank you. I don't know. I can, if you guys can make some time, I can go through every slide again and can look at the difficult words and can try to explain while you guys are coming up with the question. तो सबसे पहले आई थिंक जो मुश्किल लफ्ज मैंने बोला वो था peer reviewed scientific literature. सो बेसिकली peer reviewed scientific literature ये होता है कि जब हम यूनिवर्सिटी में when you go to graduate school or even before आप कोई research paper लिखते हो, तो इट हैज़ टू बी वेरी यूनिक, इट हैज़ टू बी योर आइडिया। वो जो पहले काम हुआ होता है आपको उससे आगे लेके जाना होता है। It's not that you are just repeating the same work, and in science you have to add something to it, उसकी कोई वैल्यू होनी चाहिए। तो वो आप लिखते हो, वो आप अपने एडवाइजर से रिव्यू कराते हो। अगेन उस पे आइडिया यही होता है कि आप कॉपी पेस्ट नहीं करो, आप कुछ ऐड करो, कोई वैल्यू ऐड हो रही हो उस रिसर्च में। आपका एडवाइजर रिव्यू करता है, आपकी इंटरनल यूनिवर्सिटी की कमेटी और जो भी इंटरनल सिस्टम होता है वो रिव्यू करता है। उसके बाद वो पब्लिश होने के लिए आप डिफरेंट जर्नल्स को भेजते हो। तो हर रिसर्च जर्नल का अपना क्राइटेरिया होता है कि वो इसको एक्सेप्ट करते हैं या नहीं करते हैं। उनकी इनिशियल स्क्रीनिंग होती है, इनिशियल वैलिडेशन होती है। आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू एक्सप्लेन, इसको सिंपली एक्सप्लेन करना चाह रही हूँ, और अगर मैं कुछ मिस कर दूँ तो आई कैन ऐड इट लेटर। तो उसके बाद उसको अगर वो एक्सेप्ट करता है जर्नल, और हर जर्नल की अपनी रेटिंग होती है कि ये टॉप, इसका ये रैंक है, इसका ये रैंक है, इसका ये रैंक है, और उसी हिसाब से उसको वेटेज दी जाती है कि आपकी कितनी अथेंटिक है या कितना उसका। जैसे आपकी आईवी लीग स्कूल्स हैं, जैसे आपकी यूनिवर्सिटीज हैं स्टैंडर्ड, उस तरह उनकी एजुकेशन और उनकी रिसर्च बेस उस पर डिसाइड हुआ होता है। और वो फिर अपने आज अगर वो एक्सेप्ट करते हैं तो वो रिव्यू के लिए भेजते हैं जो उनकी कमेटी होती है। सो दैट इज हाउ research got published. That is what peer reviewed scientific literature it means. um, on neuroscientific regulation, it's basically कैसे आपका ब्रेन रेगुलेट करता है। कार्डियोवैस्कुलर इज अबाउट हार्ट, आपका दिल। बायोमैकेनिकल, ये जो आपका आपका हाथ पांव जैसे चलते हैं, इट्स अबाउट दैट। behavior आपका and self regulation, it's about your behavior. um, what else did I talk about? Okay, so cognitive coordination, ये basically brain का वो function होता है जो आपका attention को, attention, memory, उन चीजों को control करता है। That is where prefrontal cortex, बहुत सारी चीजें scientific terms हैं। ईईजी इज मोर लाइक, जैसे आप दिल की ईसीजी करते हो, ईईजी वो चीज़ है जो आपके ब्रेन के सिग्नल्स को रीड करता है। तो जैसे आपने देखा होगा डिफरेंट मूवीज में, वो ब्रेन पे स्कैनर्स लगा के, चिप्स लगा के, वो दे ट्राई टू रीड कि आपके ब्रेन में क्या एक्टिविटी हो रही है। ईईजी वो स्टडी है। आई एम ट्राइंग टू सी और मैंने कौन से डिफिकल्ट वर्ड्स यूज किए हैं। प्री फ्रंटल कॉर्टेक्स, मुझे उसकी उर्दू भी नहीं पता है, लेकिन ये आपके जो फोरहेड है इसके पीछे का जो ब्रेन का एरिया है वो होता है। देन आई थिंक आई मेंशन न्यूरो होमोस्टेसिस, उसका ये होता है कि इट्स द स्टेटस वेयर यू आर स्टेबल, बैलेंस्ड एंड ब्रेन एक्टिविटी इज इन सिंक। आई एम नॉट श्योर, इस स्लाइड में मैंने कोई मुश्किल लफ्ज बोला है। किसी को कुछ और जहन में आ रहा है तो प्लीज मुझसे जरूर क्वेश्चन करें। Although I joined late, okay. Any feedback, anything that I can do to improve?
अच्छा, इसमें एक और चीज़ आपने मेंशन की है, मेरे ज़हन से निकला कि साथ साथ बच्चे को संभाल रही थी कि तिलावत का भी आप कुछ कह रही थी ना, कि जब हम कुछ रिसाइट करते हैं तो उसका इफेक्ट भी होता है।
True. Basically, हम जब recite करते हैं, obviously it involves your brain, but it's also a breathing exercise. So breathing exercise, it affects your lungs, it affects your blood circulation. And when you change your posture, you are still breathing in different states. It does affect your whole biological, biomechanical system. It's more like, again, when your brain, heart, and your body is in sync. So yes, it does affect. There are scientific researches that it basically it's studied under breathing, but recitation is जैसे हम it affects your breathing ना, जब हम recite करते हैं, जैसे pauses लेते हैं, जैसे उसको अल्फाज को अदा करते हैं, और अगर आप उससे connect हो रहे हो तो it also affect your brain.
जी, मतलब इसी में भी वो आ जाता है कि कितनी इम्पोर्टेंट है आपके लिए तजवीद वगैरह सीखना, और प्रॉपर एक सुर के साथ जो है, जैसे हम कहते हैं,
True, very
तिलावत
true.
करना। जी, वो
Yes.
फिर इसके साथ लिंक कर रहा है।
No,
सही।
honestly, my research so far or study, I am so amazed and fascinated कि हम दुनिया में इतना बिजी होते हैं कि बहुत सारी चीजें शायद हो रही होती हैं लेकिन हम उतना ध्यान नहीं दे रहे होते या दिया नहीं होता. It can be obviously my negligence in this area, but I am amazed and fascinated by how this is it's like आप कहते हो ना holistic approach. आजकल लोग उस पे बात कर रहे हैं कि मेडिसिन भी आप मतलब होलिस्टिक अप्रोच के ओवरऑल हेल्थ कैसे एज अ इंसान आपने खुद को कैसे बैलेंस रखना है. तो इट्स अ वेरी होलिस्टिक अप्रोच इफ यू लुक एट इट फ्रॉम साइंटिफिक एस्पेक्ट एंड ऑब्वियसली फ्रॉम अदर एस्पेक्ट्स. बट इफ यू कैन डू इट, इफ यू कैन मेक दैट टाइम एंड ऑफर योर प्रेयर, खाली आपकी आखिरत के लिए नहीं, it helps a lot to navigate through your life challenges in so many ways. Shakib, I think we should end the presentation now. I don't think we have more questions.
जज़ाकल्लाह खैर.
या
मैम महविश का
हाँ
हैंड
यस
रेज है, काइंडली उनको भी देखो.
हाँ
Okay.
जी थैंक यू सो मच इम्तिसाल इट वाज सच अ इंसाइटफुल प्रेजेंटेशन हमने आई थिंक काफ़ी एस्पेक्ट्स आपने जो डिस्कस किए दो हमने टर्म्स सुनी हुई थी बट उसको इतना इन डेप्थ में काम करना उसके ऊपर आई थिंक इट वाज योर हार्ड वर्क सो थैंक यू सो मच वी रियली अप्रिशिएट दैट एंड आई जस्ट वांटेड टू सजेस्ट समथिंग नॉट जस्ट फॉर दिस सेशन बट फॉर ओवरऑल आई थिंक हमने जो ये इनिशिएटिव लिया था जस्ट फॉर द ऑडियंस टू अंडरस्टैंड कि वी जस्ट वांटेड इट टू बी अ लर्निंग सीरीज बिकॉज हम डिफरेंट डिफरेंट एस्पेक्ट्स पे रिसर्च की ही इम्तिसाल ने एंड वी हैड टीम मैंने की थी जब हमने उस दिन प्रेजेंट किया था एंड हमारे अपकमिंग सेशंस भी हैं बट ऑल्सो देर आर पॉसिबिलिटीज़ के कुछ एस्पेक्ट्स रिलेटेड टू द टॉपिक जब हम प्रेजेंट कर रहे हों तो डेफिनेटली हमसे मिस हो गए होंगे बिकॉज दिस इज ऑल्सो आवर फर्स्ट टाइम टू रिसर्च ऑन such topics. So I would also encourage everybody who participate these sessions, especially जो regular participate कर रहे हैं, once आपके पास जब recordings या presentations especially जब share हो जाए, so please feel free टू रीच आउट जब आप लोग दोबारा रिव्यू करें प्रेजेंटेशन को कुछ ऐसे पॉइंट्स होते हैं जो फिर हमें बाद में ख्याल आता है कि इस टॉपिक में प्रॉबेबली कुछ ये एस्पेक्ट ऐड हो सकता था या इस एस्पेक्ट के ऊपर बात हो सकती थी so we would like to continue the hard work and the initiative because research kabhi complete nahi hoti hai and I think it's our goal collective goal also to have these knowledge sharing सेशंस सो जब ये सीरीज खत्म हो जाएगी या आज का भी जब आपके पास इवन बाद में भी कुछ पॉइंट्स याद आए पिछली प्रेजेंटेशंस में important aspects so please I think we should keep it a continuous learning process ताकि हमारी भी knowledge बढ़े and of course आप लोगों की भी उसमें इजाफा होगा so just wanted to add that thank you so much.
No, you're very right. It's very important feedback and a very good suggestion. This is how we all improve. This is how we all learn. And I would like to stress it again. And इसीलिए मैं ग्रुप में मैसेज भी कर रही थी कि I think more participation can make it better because ultimately it's a sense of community. But the purpose and the mission of this community and the group, what I understood so far, कि नहीं आपका ये आइडिया था एंड ऑब्वियसली शी हैज अ टीम देयर आर अदर पीपल हु वर्क विद हर एंड सपोर्ट हर कॉज the meaning of this bridge is to provide education or the support. It's mainly like free of cost और जैसे कुछ लोग स्टूडेंट्स हैं वो स्टडी कर रहे हैं दे आर पेइंग फॉर दोज थिंग्स तो वो चीज़ें हम वो नॉलेज शेयर करें जो मे बी हाउस वाइफ्स हैं या जो वो लोग हैं जो शायद उतना कमिटेड टाइम नहीं निकाल सकते क्लासेस अटेंड करने के लिए लेकिन नॉलेज उन तक पहुंचे. अगेन इट्स टू डेवलप द सेंस ऑफ कम्युनिटी जो कि मुझे लगता है अभी हमारी एज अ मुस्लिम सबसे ज़्यादा वीकनेस है. हम डिवाइड और उन चीज़ों में तो बहुत हुए हैं लेकिन वो सेंस ऑफ कम्युनिटी नहीं है. और उसकी मैं ये एग्जांपल दूंगी कि वेयर आई वेंट टू ग्रेजुएट स्कूल, इफ आई एम जैक रैबिट्स आई एम दैट फॉर द रेस्ट ऑफ माई लाइफ. मैं किसी वहाँ के एलुमनाई से मिली हूँ नहीं मिली, आई कैन जस्ट need to tell that person that I'm also a jackrabbit and he's going to stand or she's going to stand by me. This is how usually communities are, but we lack that thing. So it's more about connection. And yes, we all are studying. We are not Islamic scholars. हमने जितनी हो सकता था रिसर्च की उसको समझा लेकिन उसको अपनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए भी समझा. बट my main goal and purpose to develop a sense of community जहाँ हम एक दूसरे से connect हो सकें, बात कर सकें और इन चीज़ों को discuss कर सकें और एक दूसरे से सीख सकें. I honestly learned a lot from previous presentations. बहुत सारी चीज़ें आपके जहन में आ जाती हैं जब आप बात करते सुनते हो. And I think but the change that I am noticing so far के at least हम it's इंटेलेक्चुअली कनेक्ट कर पा रहे हैं या बात कर रहे हैं और इस चीज को फर्दर स्टडी कर रहे हैं, नॉट अंडर द टिपिकल मदरसा स्टाइल सिस्टम, more about with the openness, with the idea to help and support and empower each other. So please help each other, try to empower each other wherever we can, obviously with the support and strength of the faith. So I appreciate more participation in upcoming sessions. And like Mavish said, I will echo the same thing that feedback is very important. Suggestions are very important. This is how we can improve. And maybe next time we can present these things in much better way. So that is what I would hope for. Uh, Somehow, because I'm sharing my screen, I can't see hand raises or stuff. Shakib, is there any other person or a question? I think Laiba,
जी
I just saw
जी
it.
जी
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
Walaikum assalam.
मेरा क्वेश्चन खुशबू के हवाले से था। वहाँ पर स्टार्टिंग में आपने कहा कि जब हम खुशबू में भी हम करते हैं कि जब हम नमाज़ पढ़ते हैं तो स्ट्रेस हमारा दुनिया की टेंशन्स वगैरह साइड पे रखकर हम अपने जो रियल पर्पस है उसकी तरफ अलाइन होते हैं। तो ये एक क्वेश्चन आ रहा था मेरे ज़हन में कि अगर हमारा जो टेंशन वगैरह स्ट्रेस वो हो ही हमारे रियल पर्पस से अलाइन हो, तो जैसे हमारे पास उमर रज़ी अल्लाह तआला अन्हु की एग्जांपल है कि एक बार उन्होंने सलाम फेरा और उन्होंने कहा कि नहीं, मैंने वहाँ पर बंदे कम भेजे थे, और वो इस तरह की एक बात मुझे एग्जैक्ट वो नहीं याद, लेकिन इस तरह की भी बात थी। तो अगर हमारे नमाज में इस तरह के टेंशन्स हैं, लेकिन आपने कहा कि नहीं, वो हम साइड पर रख कर ही वो खुशू का एलिमेंट आएगा, तो इसके बारे में आपसे चाह रही थी, अगर आप बताएं थोड़ा।
देखो, खुशबू में अगर आपका फोकस बेहतर हो रहा है, आपकी डिसीजन मेकिंग बेहतर हो रही है, तो दैट मीन्स यू आर गिविंग यू आर शार्पन योर विजन्स. तो अब अगर हो सकता है उन्हें ये भी फिक्र हो कि मैंने आज, अगेन आई एम नॉट ट्राइंग टू गेट इन टू द रिलीजन राइट नाउ, आई एम जस्ट थिंकिंग फ्रॉम अ बायोलॉजिकल एंड ब्रेन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, कि आप एक काम स्टेट में आओगे तो बेहतर डिसीजन ले सकोगे ना. यू कैन नॉट जस्ट शट डाउन योर ब्रेन. बट आई डोंट नो, इट्स ओके. Another way I can explain, suppose you have 1000 thoughts, how you can just make a decision about one? You can only do it when you are more focused. And when you are more focused, when you have better cognitive function, when you are mentally calm, only then you are not making impulsive decisions. Does it make sense to you?
Yes, it's clear.
Thank you so
Yes.
much. I can maybe talk more about it tomorrow. I did get your point. But I don't want to say anything from a religious point of view to sound like off the topic. But that is closest to what I could have think about.
जी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, इट्स क्लियर। जज़ाकल्लाह खैर।
Thank you.
ओके मैम, मेरे ख्याल से मज़ीद क्वेश्चंस नहीं हैं। इंशाल्लाह
Okay.
अगर आप इजाज़त दें तो मीटिंग को एंड करते हैं।
जी, बहुत शुक्रिया. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. Please feel free to share these presentations with your family and friends. I would still like to encourage more participation. Not that we are selling some stuff here, it's just for better sense of community. कोई थोड़ा सा भी अच्छा सीख लेगा किसी चीज से, so it's going to affect someone's life and maybe improve someone's life. That is the purpose and that is the mission of this whole project and assignment and even of this group. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shakib, for all your help. Thank you so much.
थैंक
May
यू
Allah
इंतजार,
bless.
जी
इंशाल्लाह फिर
एज
कल
वेल
मिलेंगे।
एज
अल्लाह हाफिज।
एज अनाउंस्ड
जज़ाकुम
एर्लियर जो है हमारा कल साइकोलॉजिकल पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ सलाह पे हम बात करेंगे। तो आप लोगों से दरख्वास्त है, इल्तमास है कि आप लोग लाजमी सेशन को ज्वाइन कीजिएगा टाइम से ही, और इंशाल्लाह आपसे फिर कल मुलाकात होती है, दोबारा बात होती है। सुबहानक अल्लाहुम्मा व बिहम्दिका अशहदु अन ला इलाहा इल्ला अंता अस्तगफिरुका व अतूबु इलैक। अस्सलामु अलैकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू।
जज़ाकुमुल्लाह खैर। वालेकुम अस्सलाम।